Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of Jofo in the Ring. I am your host, the harbinger of truth, Jeremy Prophet, the man who dares to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the whole damn truth, week in, week out. So if you can't handle the truth, trust me, you won't be able to handle the profit, so you might as well tune out now. But you're not going to want to tune out because we have an outstanding guest. We have someone who has been making headwaves, making headlines all over the American independent scene, whether it be in New Japan Strong, whether it be in AEW, whether it be in MLW. We got one of the top guys in the game today, bar none, the one, the only, making his return to Jofo in the Ring, Danny Limelight.
Mi gente, what's going on, baby?
I
appreciate the introduction. You know what I'm saying? How's everything?
Well, I'm doing great, and I'm glad to have you on here. I missed the first time you were on, so I think this can be a bit of a treat for the fans.
You missed the party.
Yeah, I think it'd be a bit of a treat for the fans and for me, too, to get to know you. I've heard nothing but good things from my brethren here on Jofo in the Ring, and seen nothing but great things when you're on my television screen. So, yeah, I look forward to digging into some of the highlights of what's been going on with you. So before we dive into the past, maybe we could deal with the present. In doing my research, I see that you are now part of the new LAX, and you guys are kicking ass and taking names all over MLW. Yep. Let me know, how did that come about?
Well, you know, essentially, first of all, shout out to MLW, shout out to my tag partner, Slice Boogie, shout out to Julius Smoke, shout out to the OG Konnan, 5150 in the building. You understand me? Basically, what happened was I had just got done with my contract obligations with AEW, and I received a phone call from the OG Konnan. I had did business with Konnan, you know what I'm saying, in my earlier career. He brought me to Mexico for the Crash. He brought me to Mexico for AAA. And so he hit me up, was like, yo, I got an idea. The next generation of LAX, you, Slice Boogie, Julius Smokes. I didn't even think. I was like, I'm down. Run it. You know, like everybody that knows me, that been following my career, knows how big I am on my culture, how much I love being a face for Latinos everywhere. And so, you know, I was going to be running with my boy Slice. I'm going to be with Konnan. You know what I'm saying? I never met Julius Smokes before, but I heard good things about him. So I was like, yeah, I'm all for this, you know. Yeah. And LAX is a legacy. You know, it's a dynasty. You know, you got Homicide and Hernandez, and then you got Santana Ortiz, and now you got me and Slice Boogie, you know, so.
Yeah, no, definitely carrying on a great legacy, LAX, whether it be in Impact, TNA, whatever it may be, or now in MLW. It's nice to see the brand being represented. And a lot of people wondering, you know, how did that come about? Like, did Impact have the rights to LAX? Did Konnan have that in his back pocket?
You know, that's a question for Konnan or MLW. That's not a question for, you know what I'm saying, for me. But I'm happy that we were able to come out to the music. The pop that we got was insane, you know. Like I said, LA is part of the legacy. So all the stuff that happens about who runs this and who, that's not, you know what I'm saying? That's not in my direct line of fire. My direct line of fire is coming into the ring and becoming the MLW Tag Team Champions with Slice Boogie.
Yeah, good stuff. And, you know, one of the things I noticed when I was looking you up was that you're actually born in New York.
Yes.
Am I right? Okay. Because right now you're making your name, and all the stuff I've been hearing about you has been in California. I think you actually got SoCal Wrestler of the Year for 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, when did you make that move down to SoCal?
So I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, but when I was 17, I joined the United States Marine Corps. You know, we talked about this in the last episode that I was on. But I did the Marine Corps thing, and that landed me in Southern California. And I fell in love with California. I started training to be a wrestler here. Started making my waves to the side of, you know, the Southern California wrestling scene. If you think about the Southern California wrestling scene, you know, there's a lot of good people that came from here. You know, SCU, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky. You know, you got, you know, a whole bunch of people, Brody King. You know, there's a lot of people that, Samoa Joe, you know, like that are SoCal guys. And it's just awesome to be part of that, you know, that long list of names. You know, you mentioned the 2020 SoCal Wrestler of the Year, 2020 SoCal Most Outstanding Wrestler. You know, my first time on TV was for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I live in Hollywood. I love it here. I'm not going nowhere. You know, I'm proud to be from Brooklyn. Obviously, that's my culture. That's where I'm from. That's in my blood. You know, but I'm a SoCal wrestler, and I take pride in that too.
And now you also proudly represent the Puerto Rican community.
Yep.
And so I got to wonder, because, I'm very familiar with, I got some homies down in New York, I know what that's like, but what is the Puerto Rican community like in California?
There's not many of us out here,
That's what I figured.
I haven't ran into too many. There's been a few people that I've met that are Puerto Rican, but they're not from California. They kind of relocated to California.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few out here, and it's one of those things where we see each other, we recognize. Sometimes when I'm in the gym, I got my Puerto Rican bandana on sometimes, and they see it, and they might throw the deuces up, hey, something like that. But the Puerto Rican culture in New York is very different. Obviously, we are very well alive there, So I'm just, me and my daughter, my daughter's Puerto Rican, she's in California. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I wanted to talk a bit about your time in the service too. I have much respect for that. In Canada, we're not as, how can I put it? We don't put as much emphasis on the military, but I actually come from a military family. My father was in the Air Force, in the Canadian Armed Forces. He actually served during World War II. Believe it or not, my father is significantly older than me, had me very late in his life. Passed away a couple of years ago at the ripe age of 88. I'm still on the right side of 30, so he definitely had me late in life. But he was in the Air Force, so I got much respect for you for being in the armed forces, serving there.
Sorry for your loss to your father.
Oh, well, no, I appreciate that. And I was surprised when I heard about that when you had done that interview with Paul White. If I'm not mistaken, you were an instructor in the military. Is that correct?
I was a Marine Corps drill instructor.
Drill sergeant, and you also did a form of combat as well. You taught like a fighting style.
Oh yeah, I didn't do combat, but I taught the Marine Corps martial arts program, which it consists of close quarter combat. Yes.
Okay, close quarter combat.
Yes,
So,
I was first degree black belt instructor in the Marine Corps martial arts program.
Oh, beautiful. God bless. With that said, I was wondering, did you incorporate any of those skills from your close quarter combat into your professional wrestling?
Yes, 100%. A lot of the submissions that I do come straight out of the Marine Corps syllabus. So my rear naked choke, my bent armbar from the scarf hold. When I'm working the guy's arm, usually I put him in a bent armbar from the scarf hold. Some of my judo throws came from the Marine Corps martial arts syllabus. The strikes, a lot of the things that I do in life, period, comes from the Marine Corps. Even wrestling, the hunger to be good, the best, not be good, be good, not being good enough, but being hungry, willing to adapt to any situation, no matter who you put in the ring with me, I can adapt to their style. That's all the Marine Corps training.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good to hear. And I like that when I see you in the ring, you have a very diverse style. We'll see a lot of high flying and acrobatics. We'll see a lot of hard hitting. You bring a good level of intensity. You remind me a bit of myself, although I don't think two people would see a Jeremy Prophet match, a Danny Limelight match, think we have all that much in common. I think that the more I get to know you here and the more I see there's a lot of similar elements of not wanting to be one dimensional. That's one thing that I'm very big on.
Yeah.
So I definitely see and recognize that in you. And I think that that's why you've been able to have such great matches with such a select, different group of opponents.
Yeah. I think that it's important to be able to wrestle any style. I love that I can. If I'm in the ring with REY FENIX, we can have an insane lucha match. If I'm in the ring with Kenny Omega, we can have an insane wrestling match. If I'm in the ring with Konosuke Takeshita, we're gonna be striking, brawl. It's gonna be a fight. But then if I'm wrestling Seidel, it's gonna be more technical. So being able to do it all, it kind of makes me like a Swiss Army knife, if you will, because you can put me in there with anybody and know that I'm gonna, essentially be able to hold my own with whoever it is, 100%. And I'm gonna go out there and try to steal the show every time I'm out there. So
now, during the quarantine era, as I like to call it here, where wrestling more or less shut down pretty much the globe over, you were someone who rose out of that, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Got a prominent spot on AEW Dark, again, New Japan Strong, and MLW, getting all that visibility, being seen at a time where there wasn't a lot of work. Can you maybe take us on the journey of going from COVID to where you are now? What happened in between?
So right before COVID happened, I had separated my shoulder. I was out for 1 month when I should have been out for 4 to 6 months, but I rushed my recovery to get back to the ring. And then COVID happened. And right before I had separated my shoulder, I had did my New Japan tryout. So I was already, I had already did my thing with New Japan in the tryout. So I had that in my mind. I had a lot of things going. I had just got out of the Marine Corps. And so when COVID happened, I started school. You know, wrestling was kind of shut down. I started filming projects, working on scripts, writing stuff, producing things, trying to make little projects, auditioning, helping my daughter audition. So I was very busy. And then, you know, New Japan was the first company to call me. Hey, we're coming back. We're going to do it XYZ. I was like, I'm down. You know, made my debut, Lions Break Collision against TJ Perkins. Became a mainstay on New Japan Strong.
A guest of the show also, yep. TJP.
Yeah, TJP's the man. That's my boy. And so then Primetime Live and United Wrestling Network came back. And Marquez called me and said, this is my idea. You know, I want to do the bodega. You, Papo Esco, and we want to bring Slice Boogie in. And I was like, I'm down. Let's do it, you know? And so we did that. So I was on, you know, New Japan Strong and Primetime Live, grinding through the summer, trying to steal the show there as well. We became tag team champions, me and Papo Esco. And then in October, AEW contacted us. And then, you know, I went out there and made my debut, did my thing, and they wanted me back. And then it got to the point where every week I was being in a featured match on Dark, wrestling, you know, Brian Cage, Matt Sydal, Rey Fenix. And then I made my Dynamite debut against Kenny Omega. And it was a 6-man. It was me and Varsity Blondes. Shout out to the Varsity Blondes. They just signed their contract with AEW against Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. And I kind of like showed out, I guess. You know, I really held my own. You know, when you're in the ring with someone as good as Kenny Omega is anyways, it's you know what I'm saying? It's going to happen. He's going to bring the best out of you. And so did that, you know, signed my Tier 0 contract with AEW. They still allowed me to work in New Japan. So I kind of was like a forbidden door walker, you know, walking back and forth, you know. And then still doing United Wrestling Network stuff. And then, you know, I met my obligations in my contract. You know, they told me, hey, thank you for this and this. You know, maybe we see you down the line, you know. And for me, it was like, okay, you know, what's next for me? Konnan called me not even a day or two later.
Wow.
And you know, now I'm with MLW, and I feel very blessed to be with the company. I think that the rebirth of this company, they're doing some amazing things already. And I know that LAX is going to be a big reason why people are tuning in every week.
So do you think that Konnan maybe had gotten wind that your obligations had come to an end, and he said like, hey, we got to scoop this guy up because if we don't,
I don't know. All I know is that I got a call. It was a great opportunity. And, you know, I've never been the type of person to just sit around and wait. For, you know, if an opportunity presents itself, I go out and make the most of it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. And, you know, Slice Boogie's hungry. He's been killing it on NWA Power. You know, we already have the chemistry from the bodega. And now, you know, we already talked, and we know what we want. We want tag team gold. So,
So just wanted to fill in some blanks on that story here because I watched your whole run in AEW, and I got a couple questions on it. Who was it? You said they reached out to you. Who was it particularly that contacted you?
I got an email from QT Marshall.
Okay. And it was pretty much saying, hey, you know, we want to see what you got. We're looking for guys. We're looking for talent.
And it was, you know, it was an opportunity to go out for a Dark episode. You know?
Okay.
So I flew myself out there, and it was an opportunity. And I told myself, if I get an opportunity, I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna do my best to show out. You know, that's the goal. Is to stand out. You know, we all want to be signed. You know, so.
So I mean, I think from what I remember, that match they gave you, the first one, at least the first one that aired, I think it was against Jurassic Express. It was
it was me and Jersey Muscle against Jurassic Express. Yeah, it was a 6-man. And then I had another tag match with them. And then from there, it went straight to singles matches. You know, I wrestled Brandon Cutler, then I wrestled Brian Cage, then I wrestled Matt Sydal, and then I wrestled Rey Fenix, and then we just started rocking and rolling.
Yeah, I mean, you faced everyone like from the bottom of the card all the way to the top of the card, singles match. You main evented. You even main evented Dark Elevation. I think you main evented the first one, if I'm not mistaken.
No, we opened up the first Dark Elevation. We opened up the show, the first match ever in AEW Dark Elevation history, me versus Jungle Boy, which was kind of cool for me because my debut on Dark, I was wrestling Jungle Boy essentially because he's part of Jurassic Express. So the first ever Elevation match, being able to have that forever in the history books, Danny Limelight versus, you know, Jungle Boy is it's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, definitely. And one of the things
I main evented Elevation against John Moxley. I main evented Elevation against Kenny. So I did a few main events.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, you worked everyone, you know, from the bottom of the card to the top of the card, guys who were champions, former champions, all that. You had a hell of a run there. So when they first told me, because you did Jofo in the ring, I think before you did the match on Dark, if I'm not mistaken, and Frank Jofo was telling me, you got to watch this guy. This guy's going to be a big deal. Admittedly, I didn't know you from Adam, but I tune into Dark every week. And I've seen every episode. I want to see what the talent is out there, and I want to see, what I'm competing against. Being a fellow professional. And I was just like, I'm not going to get my hopes up about this guy. I see guys go in there, and they turn into punching bags pretty quickly. So we'll see what he's got. But I gotta say, you busted out some moves that were pretty impressive when you were in there, and definitely stood out to me on there. And then caught my attention. I knew that when Danny Limelight was going to come on screen, we're guaranteed a certain quality to the match. Right. So, power to you for that. I got to wonder, when you step into those situations, I mean, do you have agents that are setting up the matches, or is it you and your opponents, and you're kind of, given a role to go in and, help these guys, do a favor for them? What kind of say do you have in those situations?
Listen, I show up, I show out. That's my job. That's what I'm going to do. I just want to thank Jerry Lynn, Christopher Daniels. They helped me a lot backstage. A lot of good feedback, a lot of good critique, ideas, but Danny Limelight's goal is always to show up and show out. All the other politics stuff, all the backdoor, or whatever questions that people want to know about, you're not going to get those answers from me. My job's in the ring, and I do my best every damn time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to say, I loved your match with REY FENIX. That's my
boy. That's my Konnan right there. I got mad love for that dude.
Because that one was fairly early on in your run too, on Dark, and I think that REY FENIX really helped to show what you had to offer, show that you could be in there with any guy, and I think that that's probably what led to them finally giving you those opportunities with the Moxleys, with the Omegas.
I would say that like the first real opportunity. Well, all opportunities, but one of the ones that really stood out to me was when I wrestled Brian Cage in front of a live crowd, before Dynamite, and we had a really fun 5-minute match, and it was the Machine, Brian Cage against Danny Limelight, and it was like the first time a lot of people was really seeing what I could do with one of the top guys, and but Ray, I've known REY FENIX since 2016, indie shows in San Diego, the Crash in Tijuana, because Konnan, he's been a very good friend of mine for a long time, and then being able to wrestle him and to just have that kind of match, and when I saw that we were wrestling each other, we gave each other the look, and it was like we know we were about to go off. Like we knew we were about to go off. And we did that, and I don't think that spot that we did had ever been done. The double
rope walk.
Yeah. So it was a very memorable moment for me, and it was great to have it one of my best friends.
Yeah, no, that was a great match. And while I haven't shared the ring with REY FENIX as of yet, I have been in the ring with Brian Cage, so I do know what he brings to the table. And anyone that can stand in there and go toe to toe with him, mad respect for them for that. Did you ever feel like at a point, they were going to just come to you and finally be like, okay, you know what, you've proven yourself in the ring. People are loving your matches. Here's the deal. Here's the contract. We want to lock you down. Did you feel like it was going to happen, or?
I was, it's always one of those things where you want to work hard because working hard is the job, but you have a goal, you want to be somewhere, but at the end of the day, you just want to perform every time. And I think that for me, even though there were times where I was like, I need this to happen. I want this to happen. I was more concerned with, if it don't happen, I need to make sure that if this is going to be my last time in this ring, that I show out. That I make the fans talk online, that I make people be like, damn, I want to wrestle Danny Limelight, And so that's all I did. And when it came, for me, it was one of those, like, I knew I deserved it. You know what I'm saying? There was no question. I'm like, am I taking someone's spot? Am I this? Am I that? For me, it was like, I deserve this. That's why it's coming.
Yeah. And so what I was getting at is also, were you getting some feelings maybe from the veterans, from the guys who are under contract? They were coming up to you, giving you praise on your matches, telling you, man, this is going to be a shoe and you belong here. Were you getting that kind of a vibe from the locker?
There was a couple matches in particular. REY FENIX match was one of them. My Dynamite debut was another one. People see me do some stuff with Kenny when I wrestled Konosuke Takeshita. By the time I wrestled Konosuke Takeshita, I was already signed. But that was another match that had a lot of people giving me good praise. It's never about the good boys and the pat on the backs for me. I do it to do it. If it comes afterwards, it's always it's like wow, thank you. I used to watch you, and now you're telling me this. That feels good. Of course, it's always gonna feel good. But for me, I don't wrestle for the attaboys.
Okay. And so right now you're with MLW and you're doing
Yes.
all the other stuff on the side too. So you still got a lot going in different directions.
Yes, and I can still wrestle with New Japan.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. So what do you feel is like the end goal? What would you like to see yourself accomplish? Let's say, 3 to 5 years from now.
Man, well, the first goal is become MLW Tag Team Champions with Slice Boogie as LAX. You know what I'm saying? Keep the legacy going. But long-term goals, man, I just want to be innovative. I want to be known as one of the most creative wrestlers in the ring, somebody that people are going to go watch their matches when they're looking for things to do that are unique and different. I want to be a face for the Latino community. I want to show people that come from New York, that come from the streets, that you can make something of yourself. That's what matters to me. All the other, dream jobs, dream champion, all that stuff, yeah, that comes with the job. But for me, is the what matters most is the legacy left behind. Am I significant or successful? You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, we all get into business for different reasons, different goals and whatnot. I think you're definitely on the right path and you're doing a lot of great work and blazing one hell of a trail behind you. I wanted to ask you about your name, the Radioactive Poppy. Now, maybe they touched on that in the last episode, but
no, I wasn't the Radioactive Poppy yet.
No, you didn't have that yet. So where did that come from, and what does it mean?
I was looking for like an idea, like something to call myself. Like I wanted to, I was looking for something that was gonna be catchy, and everybody knows Spider-Man's my thing. That's my guy. I was a huge comic book fan of his, So the radioactive part comes from that, And then the Poppy, that comes from, I'm a Poppy. I'm a Puerto Rican Poppy, But also it comes from Eddie Guerrero. It's paying homage to Eddie. He's one of my favorites. A Latino superstar. In my opinion, a top Latin wrestler of all time. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. And so, I just wanted to put two things that I loved and care about the most together into this business, make it a part of me. Add the sazon with it, and that's where it came from.
Yeah. No, it's pretty catchy. And you got the moves there to go along with it.
The little thingy thing.
What do you what you got a name for that dance?
Right now it's the thingy thing.
I
don't have a name yet.
Well, it's something. It gets you noticed, and it's all very catchy. And I think that's the game that we're in. If people don't notice who you are, then you're not doing your job properly. So right. we need as much in our favor. So you've had a lot of great matches, a lot of great opponents. Is there anyone out there that you want to have a match with that you haven't had one with yet?
The first person that pops in my mind is Pac. I would love to have a one-on-one with him one day. Will Ospreay. A one-on-one with Kenny Omega. Formerly known as Buddy Murphy. That would be a good one. Mm-hmm. I just wrestled somebody I've always wanted to wrestle was JT Dunn. I just finally crossed him off my list. We had a banger in Massachusetts. So shout out to JT Dunn.
I wrestled JT Dunn many, many years ago.
He's one of the best, man.
Probably around 2012, 2013.
Oh, wow, that's a very long time ago.
Very long time ago. Yeah, in Massachusetts.
He's insane right now. He's on another level.
That's good. That's good to hear. Cool. And I mean, what can people expect from the future?
I mean, honestly, well, at the time of this recording, I'm headed to Vegas tomorrow for my film Joe RIV. Our premiere is happening in Las Vegas. Then the Friday and Saturday is the award ceremony for nominations and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Had the pleasure of working with award-winning Egyptian filmmaker Miko Sad. Was edited and stuff like that by Saif Ashari from Creative Labs. I got to work with Nick Helms, second unit director, stuntman, legend. Done a lot of movies in Hollywood. Got to work with an amazing cast and crew. Had a lot of fun with it, but it's so awesome that we're bringing this film to the festivals to get everybody seen, everybody's work seen. Hopefully win some awards in the process. And pitch it for, the full feature film. That's the goal. I got some shows coming up, those just be, stay tuned for the announcements. They'll be announced. And just look forward to seeing LAX run through everybody in the MLW. Nobody's safe. Green lights on everybody. Look forward to the Bodega still holding on to United Wrestling Network Tag Team Championships. We're not letting them go anytime soon. And then look forward to me being a filthy poppy on New Japan Strong.
Well said. Believe it or not, your career path over the last year has actually even somewhat influenced mine. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, because when I first hooked up with the Jofo boys here, of which, a couple of us, we went to school together. The man who's usually the man behind the scenes, who happens to not be the man behind the scenes right now, Bruno, because now I got Teeks with me doing Bruno's job because Bruno's got some other commitments. But Bruno actually pointed you out to me and said, this is a guy who's an example that you could follow. Because, I was kind of, I guess you could say, an unknown, but I just like to let my work speak for me and not do the talking myself. And he pointed to you embracing podcasts, social media, all those kinds of things to get that buzz going about you. And so that was a lesson that even I had to learn, to the point where now we're pumping out episodes every week and I'm on, as many shows as can be. But I wanted to know, was that always something that you had envisioned, or did the light just kind of go off for you too and you had that aha moment that, I got to start spreading the word and getting my name out there?
Well, I mean, social media is important in everything that we do, but my roommate, PJ, he also does a lot of the audio work for my films and stuff like that. He's an audio engineer. We were in the Marine Corps together as well. He's very much kind of always on top of me as far as like, yo, you need to do this. You need to be doing this. You need to be promoting this, like social media. And I'm like, bro, but I just want to go look through some pictures. You know what I'm saying? Answer some DMs, like I'm just trying to chill, But he be on me. He be like, yo, you need to do this. You need to do that. And so that's where, I started really reaching out to podcasts and like trying to get these interviews done and trying to get, the PWI interview that they did on me, the one to watch. Like that, social media is very important, man. Promoting yourself, because we're in the age of technology. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's getting work through social media. Even with the acting and stuff that I do, social media is a big part of it. So I gotta be growing in social media.
Yeah. No, and like I said, you were the example. You were the template that was given to me, and I think it's one of the best decisions that I made. So yeah, in an indirect way, I'm glad I finally get to, give you your props for that.
Thank you.
All right. So for everyone out there who wants to follow this outstanding young talent, man who is making waves, man who you're going to be hearing about for many, many years to come in many of the top promotions, where can they follow you and find you on that same social media?
Man, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Danny Limelight, ProWrestlingTees.com/Danny Limelight, Cameo.com/Danny Limelight, TikTok, Danny Limelight. I'm everywhere. You can find me on social media. I'm not hard to find. Reach out, DannyLimelight@gmail.com, and let's work. Let's collab. Let's make history.
Yep. That sounds great. And, with this strange business that we're in, you never know how career paths can cross and whatnot. But if, God wills it, I would love to be across the ring from you one day. I think you and I could have a hell of a match. And, I wish you all the best in your endeavors. And I will also follow you on those social medias. And
I appreciate it, brother.
I will do it, but under one condition. You got to tell Court Bauer he needs more Canadians up in MLW.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for the interview. Right. Tell everybody at Jofo I said appreciate you guys, and you have a good day, all right?
Will do. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. It is great to be back here in front of all you people. And speaking of being back, with things now finally getting on their way and back to normal, this means that I'm going to be getting back in the ring. So that means that the fun-loving, jovial guy wearing the glasses has now got to give way to the serious Jeremy Prophet, the one who's going to go in the ring and do damage all across this province, all across this freaking country. Because I'm a very dangerous and vicious man, and I mean everything I say, and I pity whoever steps in the ring with me. I'm going to be defending this tag team championship in the IWS. No more fun and games, no more cracking jokes. That's going to be on September 4th. With whoever's dumb enough to get in the ring with me and my partner, because we're going to mutilate them. And then I'll be defending the Great North Wrestling Canadian Championship. This belt, the most prestigious title in Canada. All that to say, I take this very seriously, whether it's on screen here doing this podcast or whether it's in the ring. So if you get the chance to see me, you better see me. And you want to know why? Because wrestling is life.